Yeah. What is up on a Thursday night? Thanks for joining me. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. And as I always start off this live stream, I ask you, what are you drinking, my friends, tonight? And I'm going back to Rhode Island with this one. Phantom Farms Brewing Into the Valley Saison. It's a 7.7, kind of funky because of the green screen, but it's a 7.7 ABV. There's a raccoon on the front if you can't make it out. It's a fantastic beer. Again, Into the Valley Saison, 7.7 ABV, Phantom Farms Brewing. Cheers to all of you. Another football week is upon us. You love to have it. You love to have it. Let's see what Maryland is drinking. Nope, that's, oh my God, what did Bedard say? Maryland's having a Bone Chiller Brown Ale by Sierra Blanca Brewing, a 5.2. I like brown ale. Can't have too many of them. Might backfire on me in my belly. Rob Landry drinking a good old Yingling beer. Nothing wrong with Yingling. Very, very good beer. All right, so let's get started. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Story number 5. The LA Chargers. Are they fading? You know, the first 3 weeks of the season, the Chargers looked like a favorite. They beat Kansas City. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Broncos. Now, the Raiders, they're one of the worst teams in football now that we're 5 weeks in. So that's not necessarily a great job. They took care of business. But Kansas City, week 1, not an easy task. And then week 3 against the Broncos. The Broncos are a good team. I think the Broncos are going to be in the hunt until the very end of this season. They have a pass rush that can get after you. Good defense. Bo Nix playing a little bit better recently. So you look at the Chargers and you say, okay, so they beat KC, they beat the Raiders, they beat the Broncos, but now all of a sudden they start to fade. It starts with the offensive line. We talked about this a little bit last week, but the offensive line is a mess without Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt. Hopefully they get Alt back sooner rather than later. Daniel Popper of The Athletic, who covers the Chargers, he posted this earlier in the week. Andrew Luck, I want everybody to absorb this. Andrew Luck was hit 580 times in his 6 NFL seasons. 580 hits, and we know what happened with Andrew Luck. He only played 6 NFL seasons because he tapped out. Too many injuries. He got hit way too many times. So Andrew Luck hit 580 times in his 6 NFL seasons. Justin Herbert is on pace to be hit 625 times through his first 6 NFL seasons. Justin Herbert is on pace to be hit 45 more times than Andrew Luck was in a 6-year period. Way too many hits. Way too many hits on Justin Herbert. Now, I will say, you know, the Chargers tried to address their offensive line. Right? They got Rashawn Slater. They give him a big fat contract extension. They draft Alt at the top of the draft in 2024. So they have attempted to address it. A lot of this is just bad luck with injuries, but you just can't allow Justin Herbert to go down the road of Andrew Luck. That's going to be bad news. And when you look at the rest of what's going on with the Chargers, Najee Harris tore his Achilles. He's out for the year. Amarian Hampton, their first-round pick this season, he's now been placed on the IR with an ankle injury. So, I mean, you start to put all of these things together, and I've got some concerns about the Chargers. Herbert getting hit a ton. The offensive line is a mess due to injury. Their backfield has now been ravaged by injury with Harris and Hampton both being injured. Harris out for the year, Hampton out for the next 4 weeks. Everything is on Justin Herbert. Everything is on Herbert with a banged-up offensive line that's allowing pressure. That is not a good combination if you are the Chargers. In their next 4 games without Amari and Hampton, they might be fortunate because they've got a couple of teams on the schedule that they might still be able to beat, given all the things I just mentioned. They play at Miami this weekend. Miami's in trouble. Mike McDaniel had a meeting with Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, after that humiliating loss last weekend to Carolina. So now you've got, you know, a situation with Miami. They're trying to figure out their head coach is going to be staying. So maybe the Chargers take advantage of that. But they're at Miami this weekend. Then they got 2 tough games. At least they're at home. They play the Indianapolis Colts, and then they play the Minnesota Vikings. So 2 tough back-to-back games after this weekend at Miami, and then they finish at Tennessee. So 2 of those 4 games, the Chargers should be favored, I'd imagine. And so maybe they come out of this 2-2. Maybe they come out of it even better. But this is going to be a very, very challenging situation for Jim Harbaugh. All right, let's jump to a couple of answers here. We got Terry having her boring old Diet Pepsi. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, Terry. As I always say, Into the Valley Saison 7.7. That's what I'm having. Doesn't mean you have to drink it. I'm enjoying it. I'm sure you're enjoying your Diet Pepsi. We have some other people weighing in. Charlie jumps in with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Charlie. Kind of weird how I just said super chat. $10 super chat. Shipyard Pumpkinhead. So that's something I think Kelly, my wife, who loves pumpkin beer, is a big fan of the Shipyard. So Shipyard Pumpkin, great beer, Charlie. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Chris Chapman jumps in. A Merlot with my wife, both listening. Apologies to Chris's wife. I don't know if you want to be listening, but hopefully my dulcet tones help you out. So thanks, Chris. Appreciate you. Can our Pats win Sunday? They can win on Sunday. Locked On Patriots episode. I just finished recording the preview. It is a banger of a preview. 30 minutes of everything you need to know about that game, Chris. That'll be out tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. YouTube, even earlier on some other platforms. But yes, the Patriots can absolutely beat the Saints. Will they? You'll have to listen. That's the good old tease. Thank you, Chris. Hopefully, again, you're enjoying the Merlot, and hopefully this does not lead to a divorce. Amy jumps in at a function, sipping Pinot Noir. Oh, Amy. High-class Pinot Noir. Still upset that you won't be showing up this weekend. You're on the list. You're on the list. Let's see. Vin jumps in. High Noon Pineapple. High Noon Pineapple. I don't drink High Noon. I don't drink liquor, but Kelly drinks High Noons. I think she's a watermelon fan. So hopefully you're enjoying the High Noon. AJ Risser jumps in, says he's dead inside. I'm sure that's because of his Baltimore Ravens. We'll talk a little bit about Baltimore later. But man, oh man, an incredibly rough start for them. Lamar Jackson banged up. A number of guys on that defense hurt. Of course, the trade of Oweh earlier this week. So interesting times in Baltimore. They've got to turn this thing around quick and find a way to win some games, or their season's going to be over by week 9 or 10. AJ, good to see you, my man. And by the way, stop by the bar, AJ. Let's have a drink. Text me. Josh Steele, Nick, my man. What's up, Josh? Appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Story number 4. Oh, and Vitalix is having a sweetened sparkling water. All right. So, story number 4. What the hell is Cincinnati doing? Now, I know we talked about the Cincinnati mess last week, but we have to talk about Cincy again this week because they just traded for Joe Flacco. Now, the offense has been a disaster without Joe Burrow. Jake Browning was brutal, miserable, turnover machine. So apparently Cincinnati believes that Joe Flacco is going to help them. And I saw this trade, and I swear to God, it made me want to drink. If I was a Cincinnati fan, I would have drank all week long. I would have just drank all week long and kept asking myself, what the hell are we doing in the mirror? So Cincinnati deals a 5th-round pick for Joe Flacco and a 6th-round pick. And I don't know why. If you are Cincinnati, I don't know why you're giving up an asset. Now, I know it's just, you're flipping a 5th for a 6th, but still. Why are you giving up a 5th-round pick for Joe Flacco? Why are you giving up an asset if you're the Bengals? They're 2-3. Their next 2 games, by the way, at Green Bay. You've got to favor Green Bay. I know Green Bay lost to Cleveland, and they had that crazy tie against Dallas, but you've got to favor Green Bay in Green Bay against Cincy. So they play at Green Bay. Then they play at home against Pittsburgh, division rival. You probably still favor the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Cincinnati could be looking at 2-5. 2-5. With Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback and Jake Browning as their backup. You're going to make the playoffs? If you lose the next 2 weeks, you're going to make the playoffs after starting 2-5 without Joe Burrow? What the hell are they doing? And they go out and watch this. This will end up working somehow, some way. I'll have egg on my face. I'll have to come onto this podcast and apologize across the board. But Flacco with that offensive line, Joe Flacco, I'm going to give you some numbers. Cincinnati's pass protection is not good. They have given up the 8th highest pressure rate in the NFL, according to Next Gen Stats. So bottom 10 in pressure rate. If you look at ESPN's metrics, the pass block win rate, ESPN has Cincinnati as the worst pass protection in the league. They are 32nd in pass block win rate. They have the 3rd worst time to pressure against. So this is not a situation where they're giving up a bunch of pressure because the quarterback's holding on to the football, their receivers can't get open. No, they're not only giving up a ton of pressure, they're giving up that pressure quickly. Under 2.5 seconds. The average time to pressure a Cincinnati quarterback is 2.49 seconds. That's the 3rd worst time in football. So let me ask you, 8th highest pressure rate, 32nd in pass block win rate, 3rd worst time to pressure against. And the answer for Cincinnati is trading for a 40-year-old quarterback who can no longer move and looked absolutely washed in Cleveland. I asked the question again. What are they doing? Zach Taylor says he will remain the play caller. Good luck to him. I guess he wants to go out on his own terms. And he might end up surviving because of Joe Burrow being injured again. But I don't get the Flacco trade whatsoever. I don't get it. You give up a ton of pressure. You give up a ton of quick pressure. And you brought in a 40-year-old quarterback who can't move. I mean, Joe Flacco, man, oh man. Health insurance, bro. Health insurance. What are you drinking on this Thursday night? I ask you. I've got this is the Into the Valley Saison 7.7 ABV from Phantom Farms Brewing. Fantastic beer. Absolutely love it. I have another super chat here to get to. My guy Greg Fields jumps in. Sam Adams Jacko. Fantastic. I had that last week, Greg. It is a fantastic, fantastic beer. It is light. It tastes pumpkin-y, which is very difficult to get to. A lot of the craft beers, obviously, they get that extra flavor, and the ABV ends up getting a little high. And sometimes the beer is a little bit, lack of a better term, thicker. Jacko is a great beer because it is light. It gives you the pumpkin taste. I love it. Love the Locked On Patriots crossover pod today. Yeah, my guy Ross Jackson down in New Orleans. Great dude. Did I hear right? Did the game time change? Yes, the game time changed. I'm finding out that some people, my guy Chris, who sent the super chat earlier, was unaware of this. The game time changed. The NFL flexed the game on Sunday. So Patriots Saints no longer 4:25. It is now a 1 p.m. kickoff Eastern time. So they changed that. They have the right to flex some games. Thank you for the $20 super chat, Greg. It is very much appreciated. My guy Jeremiah Stokes jumping in. Welcome to my life, circa 1993 to 2023. Examples 1999 and 2012. Jeremiah, we got to get together, man. Text me, hit me up. Let's get together soon, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you throwing a comment in there. And Anonymous throws in a $20 super chat. Thank you, Anonymous. Like Vin water, but only because still at work. We'll be drinking soon enough. Nick, what about doing this live from your bar one Thursday? A little too loud. I don't think I'd be able to hear people. Well, I'm not taking calls. I don't know if you'd be able to hear me. It'd be pretty crazy behind me, the chaos. I thought about it. I did, but Thursday night football, bingo. They do bingo on Thursday nights at the bar. So it'd probably be a little too chaotic. I'm not sure all of you would be able to hear me. But I would love to be doing something. I would love to be doing something at the bar. I got to figure it out. All right, let's get to story number 3. Story number 3, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Right now, do you know who my MVP is? Throw it in the comments. If you look at the rundown right next to my face, it's Baker Mayfield. Right now, Baker Mayfield is your MVP. He's your MVP. The Buccaneers are 4-1. Mike Evans has been out the last couple of weeks with an injury. I think it's a hammy. Chris Godwin coming back from injury is not the same guy. AJ, no, it's not Cooper Rush. So Godwin is coming back from injury. He's not the same guy as he was as of right now. So the guy that's really helping Baker Mayfield is my favorite receiver out of last year's draft. Well, this year's draft, but you get the point. Emeka Egbuka, my favorite receiver in the draft. I watched him at Ohio State a bunch of times. Emeka Egbuka was my favorite receiver in this draft, and he has been an absolute beast for Tampa. 25 catches, 445 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's averaging just under 18 yards a catch. He has been awesome. But Baker Mayfield's balling. Through 5 weeks, he has been absolutely freaking terrific. He is top 10 in passer rating. He's top 10 in completion percentage over expected. He's top 10 in extra in APA. He's top 10 in touchdowns. He's top 10 in yards. He's top 10 in QBR. I mean, completion percentage over expected points added, 2 of the most important metrics if you're a quarterback, top 10 in. And then old school passer rating, top 10 in. QBR, somewhat old school, top 10 in. Top 10 touchdowns, top 10 in yards. He's been terrific. He has been absolutely freaking terrific. And here's the thing. It's not like Baker Mayfield is playing conservative football. It's not like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not throwing the ball. Baker has the 8th most pass attempts in the NFL. So he's also top 10 in pass attempts. So yes, that helps the yards and the touchdown numbers, but he's throwing the football a lot, and he is still one of the best quarterbacks in the metrics I just gave you. And even better, he only has 1 interception. He has thrown the 8th most passes, and he only has 1 pick. But let's go beyond the numbers. I'm going to go beyond the numbers because it's not just about the numbers why I think Baker Mayfield right now is your MVP. It is how he is winning games. It is how Tampa is winning games. Field Yates of ESPN posted this week, the Buccaneers have held a lead for just 35.1% of their fourth quarter snaps. So just barely over a third of their offensive snaps, they've had the lead in the fourth quarter. Baker Mayfield doesn't die. Like Freddy Krueger. He doesn't give up. Undertaker gif on Twitter, popping out of the coffin. The dude does not give up. He is crazy competitive. And the Buccaneers just keep winning games that they frankly should not be winning. And they're winning the games because of Baker Mayfield. He's literally carrying this football team in the fourth quarter, week in and week out. Comeback after comeback after comeback. And he also made history last week against Seattle. NFL on CBS posted, Mayfield was the first quarterback ever. NFL's been around for a while. Baker Mayfield was the first quarterback ever to have 375 plus passing yards and fewer than 5 incompletions in a regular season game. He did that last week against Seattle. Oh, and if that's not impressive enough, did you know that Baker Mayfield has faced the 6th highest pressure rate in the NFL? Oh, if that's not good enough, did you know the Buccaneers, their run game is 24th in success rate? So let's add all of that up. Mike Evans has been out the last couple weeks. Chris Godwin, not the same guy as he tries to get back from the injury. You're relying on a rookie receiver and Emeka Egbuka to really help carry your pass offense. Meanwhile, Baker Mayfield is top 10 in a bunch of statistics. He has thrown the 8th most pass attempts and only has 1 interception. He's led a bunch of comebacks already this year. He's faced the 6th highest pressure rate in the NFL, and his run game has been bottom 10 in the league when it comes to success rate. The Buccaneers are 4-1. Baker Mayfield, hands down right now, my MVP. Terry Grant coming over the top, a $50 super chat. Nick, Marilyn, and Terry want something from the bar, maybe a special tailgate pod for a good game. So do you want like something from the bar as far as like merchandise? You want a t-shirt? I'll get you a t-shirt. Marilyn, you're not a Patreon member, so you're going to have to message me or something, somehow, some way. Let me know. I could try to get you something from the bar. And I could also maybe hopefully do something from the bar as far as a podcast goes, but it might get a little crazy. I'm just going to warn you. The bar is the bar. It's loud. It's chaotic at times. The beer starts flowing. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what I'm going to say? It might not be kid friendly that night. That's all I'm telling you. Here is the Into the Valley Saison. A fantastic beer. Terry, can't thank you enough for the $50 super chat, your generosity, your support. I say it all the time because I mean it. And Terry says, no, I don't want merchandise. I want a podcast. All right. Are we talking live? Are we talking taped? Let's have this conversation, Terry. Send me a message in the Patreon. Let's work on something. Story number 2. So tonight we got the Eagles at the Giants. And Terry says she sends a $10 super chat to say, no, we want a podcast. Okay, got it. We'll figure it out. We're going to figure it out. Tonight, Eagles at the Giants. The story heading into the game for me is Philadelphia's offensive issues. Saquon Barkley has 267 yards on 83 carries. You can do the quick math. It's 3.2 yards per carry. That's brutal. And his best rushing game this season is 88 yards. And I looked this up because I was curious. Saquon Barkley in 2024, only 4 of his 16 games, because he didn't play the last week of the season, only 4 of his 16 games last year, he had less than 88 rushing yards. Only 4 out of 6. So 1/4 of the games he played, Saquon Barkley had less than 88 rushing yards. And through 5 weeks, 88 rushing yards is his best game. No bueno. A.J. Brown, 19 catches, 194 yards, so only 10 yards a catch for somebody like A.J. Brown. He only has 1 touchdown. And in the second half last week against the Denver Broncos, I was at my bar watching this game. And, the second half last week, after beginning the second half with a touchdown drive, Philadelphia had 4 straight punts. And, I mean, the drives were not good. The first drive after, again, they scored a touchdown to start the second half. Then they had 5 plays, 23 net yards, and a punt. Next drive, 3 plays, minus 16 net yards, and a punt. The next drive, 3 plays, minus 6 net yards, and a punt. And then you had 3 plays and 2 net yards. And guess what? A punt. So they scored a touchdown to begin the second half. And then after that, 5 plays for 23 yards. And then they had 3 straight 3-and-outs for a combined minus, let me do the math, minus 20 net yards. I mean, you want to talk about woeful. And it's a surprise because of the talent they have. And then you also have the drama in the backdrop of this, right? The background of all of this, you've got some of the drama. A.J. Brown goes on social media. He's not happy. He starts tweeting. The thumbs get busy. And then we got news this week that, A.J. Brown is not the only unhappy player with this offense. And there were meetings. There was a meeting between A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, and Jalen Hurts. Diana Rossini of The Athletic, this was before the Broncos game, she wrote that A.J. Brown is frustrated again. He made that clear. She wrote that Devontae Smith has stayed quiet despite his own frustrations, according to multiple sources. So Devontae Smith's not happy. A.J. Brown's not happy. Diana Rossini wrote, as one league source put it, quote, right now for the Eagles, it's run, 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 Hurts off-schedule pass, tush push. For their receivers, that means when they get to the red zone, they aren't getting the ball, and they know it, hence the frustrations, unquote. Rossini writes, Brown and Hurts have a long history, high school and college friends, turned NFL teammates. Hurts is the godfather to A.J. Brown's daughter. A former teammate once described them as an old married couple, but Rossini writes that she's told they're not that close these days. Brown and Hurts. They're friendly, but as one Eagles player described it, quote, it's functional, professional, unquote. And you have a new offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo. Now, what's going on with this meeting? Jimmy Kempski of the Philly Voice reported that Hurts, Brown, and Barkley met amongst themselves for 2 hours. This was a 2-hour meeting between the three guys to discuss offensive frustrations after the Denver game. Now, Kempski wrote that the meeting, the talks were positive, and Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley both confirmed that this meeting happened. But obviously, this is not great. Now, the biggest question is, does it matter? We've seen this before. The Philadelphia Eagles have had drama surrounding them for the past couple of years, and somehow, some way, they fight through it. They won a Super Bowl last year. Nick Sirianni was in trouble. There were questions about A.J. Brown and whether he wanted out. Sounded like he wanted out. There were questions about Jalen Hurts and, his ability to help carry a team from the pocket. So the question is, can Philly once again get it together to make a run? Is it like that? Have you ever you ever see a couple? You ever know a couple where they live on the drama? They feed on the drama. Like the boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever. They would not be able to coexist unless there was some kind of drama between the two. I've seen it. I'm sure many of you have seen it. And if you haven't seen it, maybe you've heard it from some other friends. Maybe that's Philadelphia. Maybe Philadelphia cannot exist and be successful without the drama, without the soap opera. It feels that way. All right, what are you drinking this Thursday night? Into the Valley Saison's what I got. 7.7 ABV from Phantom Farms Brewing. Come on into the bar. Enjoy the time. Help a brother out. Don't forget to like. That helps us with the algorithm. Don't forget to throw a comment in. Like Marilyn, who lets me know she's back on Patreon. Well, I'm happy to have you back. Hopefully I did not guilt you into that decision, Marilyn. I appreciate you, as always. So don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's get to story number 1 so we can get you out of here soon for Thursday Night Football. The AFC is wide open. The AFC is wide open. Buffalo has been the go-to Super Bowl favorite out of the conference, and then they lose last weekend to New England on Sunday Night Football. I'm sure many of you watched that game. So they just lost to the Patriots. They had a tough time before the Patriots game against the Saints. So the Bills don't look like, they're like they're flawless. They certainly don't look like world beaters. So the Bills, I'm sure many people will say, are still the go-to Super Bowl favorite. But it just feels like the AFC is wide open. So I kind of broke this down into tiers, okay? I broke it down into tiers for all of you. Here are the teams that I would say are likely, if not already out of it. Miami, likely out of it. The Jets, out of it. Baltimore, likely out of it. Not dead yet, but likely out of it. Cleveland, out of it. Cincinnati, we just talked about this 25 minutes ago, out of it. Tennessee, out of it. Vegas, out of it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams that I think are already out or likely out. Miami, the Jets, the Ravens, the Browns, the Bengals, the Titans, the Raiders. Then there's a clump that I'll just call like the we'll see group. We'll see. Do they have a chance? We'll see. if you're at the bar with your friend, you say, hey, do you like that team to get to the playoffs? We'll see. I got the Patriots. The Patriots are in the we'll see category. The Texans, and I know they're 2-3, but I still think the Texans could make a little bit of noise. Obviously, the Chiefs. The Chiefs lost against Jacksonville on Monday night, but I still think you look at Rashee Rice coming back soon. Xavier Worthy, if they have Worthy and Rice, I think that offense will come together. And Patrick Mahomes is still really good. He might not be as great as he once was right now, but he's still really good. So I've got New England, Houston, Kansas City, the Chargers, because they're 3-2, and Denver, who's 3-2. So I've got 5 teams in the we'll see category. So 7 in the likely are already out of it, 5 in the we'll see category. And then you've got the one-loss crew. The one-loss crew is Buffalo, Pittsburgh. I'm not huge on Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, and Jacksonville. So those are the 4 one-loss teams. I can't believe I'm saying the Jacksonville Jaguars have one loss. So when you look at this all, the question is like, if it's not this year, then when for Buffalo? It feels like Buffalo, if they get their ish together, they should march through and get to the Super Bowl. But again, this past weekend against the Patriots, the weekend before against the Saints, they don't look like this team that's like on top of the mountain pounding their chest. Kansas City, I still think, again, is dangerous. Rice is eligible to return next week. I am not writing Kansas City off, not by a long shot. I'm just not going to do it. I need to see the stake through the heart before I write Kansas City off. I'm not buying Pittsburgh. I don't think they're very good. And, the Patriots gift wrapped the game by turning the ball over 5 times a few weeks ago. So I'm not into Pittsburgh. I'm also not into Jacksonville. I don't fully trust Trevor Lawrence. I'm not going to get behind Jacksonville just yet. Indianapolis is the, out of nowhere team this season, and their offense has been unbelievable. Daniel Jones has still been really good. Jonathan Taylor's been excellent. And Tyler Warren is one of the best rookies this year. They put him in a lot of different spots offensively. So I do think Indy is dangerous. They got some talent defensively, and their offense is humming. But you also have to wonder about Daniel Jones. Will he eventually turn into a pumpkin? Like Sam Darnold had a great year last year, and then towards the tail end, he turned into a pumpkin. And that was it for Minnesota. Now he's back to playing really well for Seattle. Will he inevitably turn into a pumpkin when the games get a little bit more important, so to speak? So Indy is the out-of-nowhere team. I mean, this is an interesting conference. I think you could debate for like 4 or 5 teams to win the AFC. Honestly, that's how I feel. I think you could debate 4 or 5 teams to win that conference. We'll see how it unfolds. All right. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Help a brother out. Crafts and Kickoffs. We do this thing live every Thursday night at 7 p.m. I appreciate every single one of you. Enjoy the weekend of football. Be safe. Be well. Back next week. We'll talk then. Bye-bye.